Catch Texas in Color every Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. How's everybody doing today? This is Ronald G with Texas in Color. And right now we have Monique Robinson, who is running for Judson ISD School Board. Is that correct?
Judson ISD School Board, seat number 2.
Seat number 2. Yeah, get the 2 in there. All right. So we're gonna get right straight to the questions. We just gonna go right to it.
Oh Lord.
So first of all, can you share your background and how your life experience prepared you to lead in this capacity?
Sure. I've been in education since 2000 in various roles. I've started out teaching kindergarten, and I've taught all the way. I think you want to honestly, I've taught all the way up to high school. Focuses on social science, English language arts, things like that. I've also served in the capacity as an administrator in some school districts as well. And not just here in San Antonio. We are a military family, so I've had my fair share of serving elsewhere. But as I always mention, I don't intertwine my personal life with things that I do as a service. So some people, they frown on that. It's like, that's my private life. It's this has nothing to do with that. So
I agree with you on that one, because it is your private life. All right. What is your vision for the Judson ISD, particularly for schools in the Converse area?
Well, Judson ISD, being that the area that I foresee, because Converse is actually considered District 3. So
okay.
I have San Antonio, Kirby, areas like that. And more so is that the literacy rate is 70% here. And 70% of the young people here are having those problems with reading. Reading is actually the gateway to many things. Mm-hmm. And my belief is to actually start with the adults first. We have to construct the board to where we're united and we don't have those displays of meetings to where nothing is getting done. We're arguing. We're not on one accord. Now, I get it. You can agree to disagree, but you cannot carry on trying to work for the betterment of kids behaving in such manner. So my first thing is to create a united front amongst the board. We can agree to disagree, but we have to be respectful to one another. Second would be come up with some resources for parents that are adequate and effective and impactful. We can't just say we're going to help parents and give them some pamphlets. That's not going to work.
You're right.
We actually have to do the service to get the parents to understand, okay, this is what is needed, and have those hard conversations to where they can understand the gaps that are facing their young people. My main thing that I would like to see is I would like to see a lot of parent involvement, but parent involvement in the sense of we're teaching them resources to properly educate their scholars. It's a big disconnect. 70% is a large amount. 30 more percent, you're at 100.
Okay.
And my thing is, a lot of times people want to blame the teachers. Teachers can only work with the hand that they're dealt with. So if we use it as a holistic approach and educate everybody, we got to start somewhere. Yeah. So I would say first unite the board and then create those resources and programs for parents, and then it will trickle down to the scholars.
Okay, I agree with you when you said that people think teachers, because I'm a former teacher out at Gary Job Corps, and I'm a firm believer it starts at home. Mm-hmm. That's where everything starts is at home. What's leading into this question right there?
Oh, Lord.
How do you plan to support teachers who are navigating increasing responsibility with limited resources?
And I'm glad you asked that. On a panel that I was on the other day, that was a question that came about. I am a former teacher, and I do know how it feels to not have enough resources and not where you're coming out your own funds.
Hmm.
One of the things that I would like to plan to implement is create partnerships amongst businesses that provide those services and materials that teachers need. One of the things that strive, with collaboration comes growth. So
Yeah.
if you're able to collaborate with a teacher and sponsor her classroom, how impactful would that be to build a library for a classroom? To give those service hours or community service for high school students that may need it to graduate. So there's various things that will be impactful and influential to help, because a lot of people holler community, but are you allowing the community to actually assist the way they want to? So that's one thing that I would like to bring to the board.
Okay. Um, what incentives do you propose to help students in Judson ISD succeed academically, socially, and emotionally?
Incentives are various. Some people go for the gusto and say, "Hey, let's give them money." That's only a temporary fix. My thing for that would be something that will be an incentive base is to let them see success. Often our young people, they don't get to see success, especially when it looks like them representing their neighborhood and representing who they see daily. So if they can see the finish line and you show them how to get to the finish line, then that would be impactful enough to help. That's an incentive enough. However, as I mentioned previously, if we allow those collaborations with various businesses, then some of those programs that businesses offer for perfect attendance, for high grades, as if they, just like they do on the primary level, it can follow all the way up to high school. Because you notice the older they get, the incentives change.
Yes.
The incentives change. It's not. It may be fun to some high schoolers to, Chuck E. Cheese, bring your report card, but you know, it gets different. But if we're able to actually, maybe perhaps do a survey amongst the young people and ask them what they like. Sometimes these decisions are made and young people are not in mind. So
Yeah.
that's another thing. Be inclusive of your audience. Ask them what they want.
Okay. So then it brings to this question. How you feel about investing in tutoring, special education, career readiness programs?
That is impactful, because there are several needs. As mentioned in my area, District 2, we have a huge education gap. And in order to fill that gap, we need that tutorial service. We need that parent parent night where you're able to learn a skill, a service of something. Special education needs as well. If a kid has an exceptionality, and sometimes parents don't understand their laws even as that. And I do remember actually being in a self-contained special education class at one of my teaching assignments, and that's a whole different realm of education. And if you're a parent and you don't understand the laws and things, those are the type of resources that I would like to see. If elected or when elected, however people keep correcting me. I would like to see implemented, because there's so many times parents come to meetings and um, they are a little unprepared because they don't know the lingo. And often, some parents feel like, okay, I'm not going to answer any questions. I'm not going to ask questions. I'm just going to sign this paper. But to me, that's your child. You have a right to ask questions. If that meeting go a little bit over, that's your child's education. You should be serious about it.
Which, you must be reading my brain because my next question is about parental engagement. What strategies will you use to ensure that families and community members have a voice in district decisions?
Well, I like the town hall approach, but I also am one of those that like to have um, office hours to where I'm actually hearing what a person is saying. However, I am the type of person that do like to have solution based questioning. Like, don't come to me because you want a gripe session. Come to me because you want to fix whatever problem is happening. There is a huge gap, educational learning gap. How can we fix it? There's also no secret that there's a huge budget deficit in Judson ISD schools right now. You know, don't come and complain about they're spending money on this, they're cutting this, they're doing this. Okay, what can we do to solve it? Because at the end of the day, it's about our kids. Our kids live here. We live here. Our kids go
Right.
to school there. So it can no longer be like, what are y'all gonna do?
Yes.
Like, no, it can't be that. It's us.
Yeah, I feel you on that. See, I see when you're answering the questions that the next one pops up like, what step will you take to hold the district accountable for academic performance and fiscal responsibility?
Academic performance, that's a tough one because I like I said, I was a classroom teacher for years. Years. And so I have a soft heart for teachers because I know how it feels to have a person who has, only come in your classroom for about 15 minutes, make a huge impact on your career. And then, you felt like you have done nothing. One of my things, far as teachers is provide that work-life balance. Some of our teachers are burnt out even by November,
Mm,
just being really transparent. Now, if we're able to allow them to have that work-life balance to where they're not taking things home, they're provided with proper resources, they're able to teach effectively so that they won't feel like that. And they also have a support base. I know when I started teaching, oh God, I started teaching in 2000. I had that, I had an older teacher she wasn't really my mentor, but she was somebody I could go to that I trust.
yes.
She was there to provide that, okay, this is gonna happen, but this is what you need to do to prepare. It was like that, and we had that relationship. So my thing, if teachers are seen, heard, and they feel supported, as not just teachers, anybody that is in the educational realm, because sometimes our parents, they feel left out as well. And I think if the parents are offered that track to become a teacher, if that's what they choose to do, then that's something that would support them. But our teachers, some of our new ones, they need those resources because things have changed. It's not, and they
Yeah.
laugh about it all the time because when I first
Hmm.
came into the classroom, it was a blackboard. Then
Yeah.
it went to the Mimeo where you can make people think it's a smart board. It's not really smart yet. It's just, the board that
Yeah.
you you can control with your computer. But they think that, the kids, I taught little kids, so they thought that everything was, being, just making it that way, making it happen. But they didn't realize I was at the computer making the computer do that thing. So then we graduated from that to the actual smart board where the board is running itself. So we have those different ways of learning that has gone on, and most parents, being really transparent. I know in my area, there's a lot of grandparents raising their grandchildren,
Yes.
and so if those resources are provided, for families, maybe a parent night. I know some people have gotten away from that, but since COVID is over, we need to start bringing those back.
Yes.
So parent nights, maybe just doing some more activities to where people are able to be involved and engaged. Another thing I think would be impactful as well is, and I know some people might be upset, I don't mean no harm or disrespect, if the websites for the schools were updated, and included some type of interactive activity where parents, maybe a parent corner where they can learn how to do certain things, that is essential to their scholars learning, could help as well.
Okay. So, what do you see as the biggest opportunity for growth in Judson ISD, primarily in seat two, over the next 5 years?
One of the largest challenges, well, actually, it's two. It's the budget, one, and then two would be the learning gaps. The literacy gap is a huge thing, and I know that is not something that is going to be overnight. Okay, we can snap our fingers and that can go away.
Mhm.
It's going to take time and some tough decisions. But before we even get to that, the board must be on one accord. We cannot have a team of 7+1, meaning that is all the districts plus the superintendent, and we can't even get through a meeting without, the display of the last meeting I went to, or and finished up watching it online, because it was just like, we are adults, kids are watching. You
Yeah.
can't. We have to unite that. Even if, like I said, we can agree to disagree, but we have to be respectful.
Okay. So, if elected, how can the community best partner with you to move the district forward?
Well, it's going to take trust. I know a lot of people feel that because I work at a charter school that I don't know how to differentiate the roles. However, what they don't understand is I wear many hats and none of my hats intertwine,
Mm.
because I have that leadership discipline to know how, okay, this is the hat I'm wearing. Okay, this is off. And it's not a conflict of interest. If people would actually go to the website and do their own research, they would know that you cannot run for Judson ISD School Board and work in Judson ISD. However, I work at a charter school because that's where I chose to work. That's a career move. That's my professionalism. I'm running for school board. This is something I want to do in my spare time, and as well as my nonprofit. So these are things that are volunteer. My job is where I get paid. So, and I think that's one of the things that has been so unique throughout this campaign. That's the only thing people talk about. She works at a charter school, and then when they got off
Yeah.
of that bandwagon, it went to, well, she wears her education on her shoulder like a badge of honor. And I'm like, I don't even tell most people that, I have a doctorate. I don't. It's that was a personal goal. You even know that. That's a personal goal for me. And if you find out and okay, good, that's good, but I'm still, not gonna put any extra air in my chest. I mean, don't make me no better than you. Put your pants on the same way I do. However, my role and want to do this job and service our kids is because we need representation on the board.
Okay.
There's no secret about that. I need our people in District 2 to really pay attention to detail.
Yes.
We
So
need representation there.
this question came into me when I told people I was going to have you on. And it was a good question because the question was, what exactly does the school board do? They hear they're running for school board, but what are their responsibility? I don't know the words, the job title. I don't know what word to use, but what is exactly does the school board do for the district?
The school board oversees and is responsible for how the superintendent implements things that are given. So it's a team of 7+1=8. The superintendent is considered to be on the board, but he doesn't vote. However, the board oversees and the superintendent gives his report every meeting. Also, we each district have a certain amount of schools that are in their area, and we pretty much oversee things happening. We take community things. We show up to different events, but that's in the gist of what the school board does. However, since I have been attending the meetings since I actually became a candidate, I've been, kind of peeling it back. And my only concern is, and again, I don't mean no harm or no disrespect, Mr. Mr. Gordy, you pretty much know. You pretty much know me.
Yeah.
It's not what comes up comes out. It's just that I'm so direct, and some people don't understand that. My concern with the school board is that you don't have actual educators who have worked in the trenches making decisions for people who have been there and done that. That's what bothers me.
Mm.
I've been in the classroom, I've been an administrator, I've been just about everything under the sun in the school system. And when I look at it, I'm like, okay, well, how many years did you teach? Oh, you sub, okay. How many years did you teach? Just meeting people.
Right.
but you're making decisions for people who have, I don't know about you, but people who have taken tests to be certified, people who have went to college, people who have got doctorates, and you perform like that and you're representing them at these meetings like
So basically,
that.
being on the school board, you have to oversee all of it, but you want the best interest for the students.
Exactly.
Is that what it boils down to? You want to know what's best for the students, even though there may be something that you really don't want to do. You got to look at it both ways. Should I or shouldn't
Exactly.
I?
Exactly.
And that's probably when some discussions get a little heated, I would
And
say.
they do. They really do. And I try to see both sides of the coin like you.
Yeah.
There are some board members who are very vocal, and which is good. Which is good to be vocal. You have, like I said, in order to have a successful meeting, sometimes you got to get that push from your teammate. But at the end of the
Mhm.
day, it's a team. It's not my idea is greater than yours, so this is what we're going with. It's not let me put this post on Facebook because I want to throw my teammate under the bus. We got to work together. Kids are watching.
Yeah. And they're hearing and seeing what's going on. So, have any student, would a door be open up for a student to come in and voice their concerns?
Students are actually, I've seen several come to the board meetings, and they, if you get there early, you can sign the form and you're able to speak. However, the superintendent, I believe, have a junior board, like they fill out the application via their school, and
Mhm.
they're able to do those type of things. However, I think it needs to be more. This board is making decisions about their education. We already have ours. I
Okay.
think if the numbers and things that and goals can be reached if you're inclusive to the families that it involves. I know one of the things throughout this campaign is constantly heard. I have skin in the game. I got kids that go there. Okay, good. That's fine. That's fine. You got kids that go there. I got blood, sweat, and tears for 25 years of education that I have dealt with watching people do
Yeah.
kids wrong. That
Wow.
is a difference.
Yeah.
It's a different type of. So you can say skin all you want. Facts is facts. Blood, sweat, and
Mhm.
tears trump that.
I,
You
I can't
know.
knock you on that one. That's a good one right there. All right. In closing, you want to tell everybody a little bit about you, how to vote, where to vote, and or whatever, how to get a hold of you.
Definitely, definitely. You can. I'm actually on all social media platforms on Robinson for Judson ISD. Also, you can reach me at that same email as well. You can definitely get out and vote. Early vote ended on the 29th. However, May 3rd is the actual election day.
Mhm.
I will tell you. I mean, I had some friends that are like, "Hey, I'm in this district. Who do I vote for?" I am actually supporting. You're like, oh God.
Here we go. Let us know.
I am supporting Mr. Macias, Mr. Salinas, Mr. Anderson. Of course, myself. I already voted. I voted.
Okay, I hope so.
Myself for school board. And if you are in the city of Kirby, please vote for Mayor Griner, Janisha Griner. She has done a wonderful job. I get it. This mayor race is really crucial in Kirby. It has been very unique. But please support her. City Council, Jeff Bass, Ms. Hutt. I might be saying Hit. I keep saying Hutt is Hit. Miss Hit and oh God, everybody that's on the mayor's ticket. Just look at the Facebook post. So definitely those people that are there. Like they're doing a good job. And what I think happens is sometimes the people who holler the loudest get hurt. So you don't really get to pay attention to the real issues and seeing what's really done.
Yeah.
Just like the school board, I go to city council meetings. You're like, oh God, when do you have time? I know. I go to city council meetings, and one thing, like I said, if I don't know you, I'm not gonna put my mouth on you. That's not my style. I don't do smear campaign. I haven't talked down to anybody. Like, that's not my thing. So just saying, I don't do that. That's not professionalism to me. I'm too educated to sit there and go back and forth with you about that.
Nonsense, shenanigans, nonsense,
foolishness.
I'll say it.
Yeah. So, I mean, but I would say just look at the results. I get it. You know, some people don't understand the streets are bad in certain areas of Kirby, but guess what? It's getting fixed. It doesn't happen overnight. You know, if you knew and paid attention to the meetings, you would know that, you know, the math and the money just ain't there. They're doing the best they can with what they have to work with.
Yeah.
But it's getting done. I've been here since 2017, the first time ever. You know, we had this pretty park in Kirby. It was a pretty park. And for the first time ever, they had like lights around the park. And I was excited. I was like, oh, there's lights around here. I'm driving.
Yeah.
But I'm just little things that, you know, the mayor is doing. So it's like, just pay attention to detail.
Yeah.
Pay attention to detail, and you will know which way to vote. Now, I am not, you know, thank God I don't have to vote for council in San Antonio or the mayor. That is the longest ballot.
Oh, I think it's 4 pages the last count I took.
Oh my God.
Maybe more than that. But 27 are running for mayor in San Antonio. I said, man, you know it's going to be a runoff in June. That's inevitable. So
definitely a runoff. I wish all the candidates success. Like, I know some of the ones up for council. I know some of the ones up for mayor. But however, all I can say is, that's going to be a long process. I'm glad mine is done Saturday. Thank you, Jesus. Win or lose, great experience.
Yes.
Win or lose, great experience. And some people say, why you keep saying that? Because they obviously don't understand me. You know, if it's meant to happen, God will make a way. If it's not, it must mean he don't want me to have more on my plate than I can bear at the time.
That's right.
But, you know, with saying that, I do still want your support and vote, but just know, don't get mad if it doesn't end that way. But only way we can decide that is if you get up and go vote. Don't complain. Get up and go vote.
Exactly. I feel you on that one. All right, Monique Robinson, we appreciate you taking time out on your very, very busy schedule. And you just keep on doing what you're doing. And we're praying for you that I could call you on Saturday and congratulate you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me on. You have always been a wonderful supporter for every endeavor that we do, even in my nonprofit realms. So I truly appreciate you too as well. Like I said, win or lose, I still won, but I would like everybody's support.
All right. Well, you take care and we'll talk to you down the line.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you for watching Texas in Color. Please tune in every Wednesday at 11 a.m. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification button so you'll be notified each and every time we go on live.